this is Jenny from Just Being Me, and you're listening to the Learning to Love Yourself podcast, the show that inspires you to put yourself first.
Learning to love yourself on the path to happiness. Learning to love yourself on the path to happiness.
Welcome back to the Learning to Love Yourself podcast, and I am so excited to have Alex Lynam here with me today to tell me all about their self-care journey. Welcome, Alex.
Hello, it's lovely to be here.
Good.
Tell
Tell us a little bit about what's gone on for you, how you've got to this space.
Well, first off, I identify as being trans non-binary. So part of my journey, or a big element of my journey, was self-discovery of my gender identity, which has taken its time in finding positive self-care, because many things that I was doing were unhealthy. We're engaging in unhealthy ways, substance misuse, drinking a lot, being in, unhealthy and toxic spaces. And being able to step into my full authentic self as being trans non-binary has come with, having to have healing and recovery. So, like meditation and breath work and journaling and self-care as well. There are all different forms of self-care, but one of the main kind of things for me is being compassionate with myself and giving myself that space and time to reflect on my experiences, which, it's been a tricky kind of journey to go through, but and don't get me wrong, I have to hold accountable. I think many people can relate to that because self-care can sometimes go on the back burner, but giving myself that time and space to just be with myself and, taking care of myself, like what I'm putting into my body, the things, who I'm associating myself with as well. That has been a big
It's very important, isn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like the people that I associate myself with has been in my community, because I didn't really have a healthy community around me. And now having a healthy community around me and people that I align with and people that resonate with me as a human being, that has really kind of impacted on how I navigate the world, how I look after myself, the positive vibes that I have. So yeah, it's always a journey.
So we talk a lot about on this podcast about what your daily strategies are for your self-care, because it's really important to recognize those, because a lot of us do our daily self-care, but we're just so used to doing it, we don't necessarily recognize it as a strategy. Do you have anything that you do daily and is non-negotiable?
I've got to have a coffee in the morning before I can even...
Is that the full healthy thing?
Oh yeah, that's probably, I take a lot of joy. I would joke, but having a coffee in the morning and just spending, half an hour before I get into my day, because I am a SEND parent. I've got 2 neurodivergent little humans, so our house can be very chaotic. But having, that coffee in the morning and just kind of being with myself for 20, 30 minutes and just reflecting on where I'm at, just feeling into my body. Because one of the things that I've struggled with to navigate is gender dysphoria. For anybody that doesn't know what gender dysphoria is, it's the disconnect between the body that I've been birthed into and how I feel about my own sense of self, within my heart, within my soul, within my being. And that is something that is tricky to navigate. So a part of my self-care, having that coffee in the morning, is checking in with myself. Am I feeling a little bit stressed, or am I feeling a bit anxious, or am I feeling dysphoric today? Or on what level am I feeling dysphoric? Am I feeling, if we put it on a scale of 1 to 10, am I feeling, I'm feeling a little bit dysphoric, but it's things, I'm doing okay. Or I'm feeling quite dysphoric. So depending on where I'm at on that scale is kind of how I then navigate the rest of my day. But that moment, that beginning of the day, of that check-in with a coffee, is a real strong set of how I navigate the rest of my day. And it's also being compassionate with myself as being a business owner, and which you'll understand as well. And I think other people will as well, listening in. that being a business owner is like, it's a lot of doing, it's a lot of being in the doing. And what I've had to become more aware of is that sometimes I just need to take a step back. And if I've got to cancel things in my diary, then I've just got to cancel things in my diary just to give myself that compassion and be gentle with myself.
It's a really important thing, isn't it? Because we are a society of doing.
Yeah.
And we are human beings, and we need to have that balance with being and doing.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about having the coffee in the morning, actually, you've given it the label coffee, but there's a whole load of looking after yourself, checking in with yourself, finding out how you feel, what you're going to do about it in your coffee.
Yes, that's it. I'm fueling my body with caffeine, but it's the actual concept. And I enjoy like having a coffee. I love having a cup of coffee, and just holding it, and just sitting down and just being there for 20, 30 minutes, or even just 10 minutes. Sometimes just being there and just being able to check in. Like that's a real kind of game changer for me, of being able, and it is this compassion. Like from my lived experiences, I have struggled to be compassionate with myself. I've struggled to be gentle with myself. And that is a big focus for me at the moment, is, giving myself that compassion and giving myself permission to say that it's not, it doesn't have to be okay right now. Giving myself permission to just be, rather than trying to do, and stepping away from my business and just going, you know what? That can wait until tomorrow, or that can wait, till another day or whatever.
And that's a hard one when you're self-employed, isn't it? Because of the fact that, most people who are self-employed are passionate about what they do. And I know you're super, super, super passionate about what you do.
Yeah.
And just walking away from it, there are sometimes for me, and I'm really good about myself. Sometimes when I go, gosh, it's 7:00.
Yeah.
But, I'm very clear on making my times in the morning is at lunchtime, but I can just get wrapped up in it and find it's 7:00.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just something I think that happens for people that are passionate, because we enjoy it as well.
Yeah, that's it. And because you're so much, because you're enjoying it, which is amazing, like to enjoy what you do for work.
Absolutely.
And enjoy being in the doing, being in the work, that you can just kind of get this time blindness and just go, where the hell did the day go? Like, what has just happened? But here it is, catching yourselves in those moments. But I would say, my day-to-day routine changes regular, but also trying to make sure like I do cold water therapy. So that is something that I've done for 4 years now, I think it is. And I've got an ice bath in my garden. And again, it's this checking in, are you able to get in that water? How are you feeling? What's your body saying right now? Like, how are you feeling? What is this connection of your body? Are you able to get in that water? And if I can't, again, being gentle with myself, I can't do that. But cold water therapy was a big game changer for me when I was living in Newquay. And I was living in a tent, was literally living the minimalistic lifestyle, and would go swimming in the sea every day. And that was a real strong game changer, because I pretty much put myself in a space of being completely 100% present when going swimming and surfing. And that helped me on my self-discovery journey. That helped me unlock a lot of the things. But yeah, the cup of coffee is definitely
a cup of coffee that includes all of these things.
My daily ritual.
So, Alex, you've already said that you identify as they, them. Are you okay to share us a little bit of your journey from identifying to getting to the place that you are now?
Yeah.
That, by any stretch of the imagination, cannot be an easy journey.
No, it wasn't. And I kind of stepped into my full authentic self, let's say, in late in life, like late 20s. I was assigned female at birth, so I used she, her pronouns for a large portion of my life, but it never felt right, never felt aligned. never really made sense. Like for me, I was always this kid that would be, running around with the boys and like getting the knees dirty and, running around with no top on and, wanting to be one of the lads, And then when as natural as biology takes form in how our bodies grow, I got to an age where it wasn't appropriate for me not have no t-shirt on anymore. And he'd be like, oh no, you need to put your t-shirt on. And I was like, why? Like, what's the problem? And then when I started to experience like puberty, it was like, right, I'm starting to feel these really uneasy feelings about myself, because it was like, I don't want to be a boy. I really enjoy like my gender expression in a more masculine way and, being one of the lads, but I don't want to be a boy. And then it was like, but I don't want to be a girl. And it was like this whole confusion, like this mixture of like feeling really confused and really discombobulated. And then I thought, I was 11 or 12 when I started to really experience this. And then going through like high school, I identified as being a lesbian. I was a cis woman.
And for those that don't know what cis is, explain that.
So cis is when you are, so for instance, assigned female at birth and you still align with being a female as your gender identity. So being a cis woman or a cis man. And yeah, I thought it was my sexuality that I was kind of struggling with. And I don't really like the term came out, but we'll just use it for this. Well, like when I came out, it was like, oh yeah, no, it still doesn't fit right. And it wasn't until, like say, when I moved to Newquay and went traveling for a bit and was really starting to connect with the world and the universe. And, there is so much more than just like gender and these gender norms and these constructs, and really starting to kind of explore that. I started to read more. I wasn't a big fan of reading. I'm neurodivergent, so I find reading really tricky. But I really got into some like LGBT books, and I found one book which is called In Their Shoes by Jamie Windust. And I read this, and the light bulbs, the sparks that just went off in my brain, because I found a person in a piece of tech that was me. Jamie is non-binary. They use they, them pronouns, and their experiences were pretty much exactly the same as mine. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is me.
Wow.
They talked about like dysphoria. They talked about gender expression. They talked about, this discombobulation of male and female, and not really sitting in that, what we would call the gender binary. And it literally was like a light bulb moment. And from there, I was like, I started to use they, them pronouns on myself, and like with a very, very kind of safe circle of people. And I was like, this makes so much sense. Oh my goodness, this affirms me. I'm stepping away from she, her, because that didn't make me feel comfortable. I explored he, him for a while, but again, it was like, didn't feel comfortable. But then finding something that just affirms you wholly and empowers you as a human being, that was like the pinnacle moment for me. And then I went and changed my name. I've always wanted to change, Alex has always been my name since I was like 14 years old. But then I officially changed it via default, and it was just like this. It was like liberation. It was like this liberation, this celebration of like full authenticity of like in my heart and in my soul. It was such a beautiful experience to feel it and to really sit in that and feel empowered by it as well. Yeah.
And how did your family find all of that?
So for like still I absolutely adore my parents and my sister. We're such a close family. But for them, it was this, I don't understand. I don't have the awareness. I don't have the education. And it was this fear as well, because of the kind of let's say, the negative echo chamber that is happening at the moment, especially around the trans community. They were just worried for my, they were just worried for my safety, if I put it quite bluntly. And they were worried like I wasn't going to have, and I'm going to invert commas, normal, because what is normal? But I wasn't going to have a normal life. And they just got scared. They just got worried because they love me so much. But it's been a process for them. And it's still a process for them now. And when I changed my name, it was like this grieving process of who I was. Like the person, the person that I was before who I am now had led me to being me. And I am very grateful for that person because I wouldn't be here without them. And it was like explaining that to my parents, and they were like, well, yeah, like we see how much growth you've made. We see how happy you are. And then it kind of became to the forefront, well, we just want you to be happy, and we just want you to do whatever makes you happy and makes you feel content and fulfilled in your life. But yeah, it's been a process. Like, don't get me wrong, they slip up from time to time and will like use my birth name, or they will use the wrong pronouns, but it's a process for them. But I think they're just in this space now where it's like, we just want you to be happy. And we can see now how much of a journey you've been on where you have been unhappy. You haven't been in a healthy space, and where you are now, you're in a really healthy space. And you're continuously making growth for yourself so you can be more happy. And that just gave me, it just makes me feel really warm and happy inside that they see that now, yeah.
Which is, it's a difficult journey, but a beautiful journey in lots of ways.
Yeah.
Because it's all affirmed by love.
Yeah, that's it. That's the centre of it. That is always at the centre of it. Like, my dad is a very traditional man. He was brought up in Trafford Park, Stretford End, like working class family, very kind of traditional values. And, his kind of, well, I'm not too sure what to do with this. And just kind of giving him that kindness and that validation that it's okay not to understand. I don't need you to understand. I just need you to love me. He's like, yeah, that's it. That's all that I need to do is just love you and, see you for you. And that's pretty much what happened. So,
and it sounds like you've been able to have very open and clean conversations.
Yeah.
Nice, then.
We've had our debates, let's say. We've had healthy conflict. Let's use that. We've had healthy conflict about certain things. And so I am having what we call gender affirming care, and I'm having gender affirming care in 2 weeks' time, which is just 3 weeks' time, which is just bizarre. And that was kind of where their moment of healthy conflict came into play. Because again, it's this I'm worried for you. I don't know what's going to happen on the other side. How are you going to feel on the other side? But in those conversations has just come more growth, has come more understanding, has come better communication. And this is something that is very much kind of part of my story at the moment. It's healthy communication, and communicating in a way that we've learned how to communicate from our lived experiences, which be trauma, which be friends, family, whatever. And sometimes it's this deconstruction of and like unhealthy communication, and then transparent and making it healthy. And that has been a journey for me and my family, of how we communicate healthily about my transition, about my journey, which again is still comes up where we're all a bit tense and we're all a bit stressed because we don't want to upset each other. And we do butt heads. All families like butt heads at time to time. But again, it does come back to the absolute core centre, is that they just love me and they want me to be happy. And that's all that we need to lead with, really.
And do you think that being able to have those healthy and open conversations has led on to other healthy and conversations, not just about what's gone on for you, but for other things in their world, other things in your world?
Yeah, it has a little bit, like because part of like my story, is for a better word, it's quite dark. I was addicted to cocaine. I was heavily drinking. I was partying all the time. And I kind of safeguarded and protected my parents from that. And I did that through keeping them at arm's length and pretty much just pushing them away from everything that was part of my life. And in this process of opening up lines of communication around who I am now has led us back to, why did you not talk to us about when you were unhappy? Why did you not talk to us about this? And that's then opened up, other doors of them kind of reflecting and going, and them being able to reflect on their feelings and thoughts and be able to say, I do understand now. We saw that, and we're really sorry that we couldn't have been there for you even more. And it's been like this massive healing process, especially for me and my mum, because me and my mum really struggled with our relationship for many, many years. And she's kind of really stepped into this space that I take up now and pretty much kind of become like my cheerleader. She's everywhere, but for all the right reasons. And she just wants to learn and understand. And we've had some really beautiful conversations where she's gone, I wasn't there for you, and I wasn't there for you because I couldn't support you. And I left it in silence, and I shouldn't have left it in silence. And it's been like, it's fine because I knew that you couldn't help me right then. And it's been like this whole dynamic of conversation, not all about just my transition. It's been where that came from, and about my journey of where I started to experience gender dysphoria, for example, and going through high school and going through college and, young adult life and all that sort of stuff. But it opens up all different stuff. And even just about like mental health, like my mum and dad really kind of didn't talk about mental health when I was younger. Whereas like now my mum is more open to and also being able to recognize her own mental well-being, which is just amazing. And for her to be able to say, this makes me stressed or that makes me anxious, and having her own self-care routine as well, which is brilliant to see. We've just been on a magical journey, I would say, over the last 4 years. It's just been amazing.
Not once did I hear in any of that any blame.
Oh, no, there's no blame. Absolutely no blame.
Amazing.
My mum has blamed herself, but I would never, ever say to her, because there is no blame. And for any parents or caregivers or whoever kind of was listening in or whatever, there is never any blame when it comes to navigating a young person's self-discovery journey or navigating a young person's mental well-being journey. It's all about processes and learning and expanding your knowledge and your awareness around what that is. The worst thing that we can do is bury our heads in the sand, because silence isn't support. It's simply just ignoring the fact that it exists. And even if we are doing that at the moment, there is still no blame. It is simply about just being able to recognize, being compassionate with yourself, and then saying, right, I need to do something about this. I need to make a change in this. And I think, there has been never, and I have never shared blame with my mum and dad, because there is absolutely no blame. It was just circumstances, it was learning, it was lack of education as well, lack of awareness. And we just kind of, and in some ways they are currently forgiving themselves for that. And I've forgiven them wholly that they couldn't be there, and that's okay. I've forgiven that you couldn't be there, but we're all here now, so that's all that matters.
And leads very nicely on for you to tell everybody what you do, as in work-wise, beyond the ordinary, because, we met at a conference, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Last year sometime, and we've now been on a journey. We've been working together for me, because it's scary to ask the questions that you don't know the answers to, because especially from my perspective of not wanting to cause hurt, not wanting to cause damage, not wanting to be rude, not wanting, and therefore you don't learn and grow. Actually meeting you, who makes it so easy to ask any question you like without putting a judgment on it, has definitely enriched my life. I can tell you, Alex. So
I love that.
Beyond the Binary is just the most amazing thing. So tell us a little bit about Beyond the Binary.
Yes, so Beyond the Binary is my company. I've been running Beyond the Binary now for like 2 years. I think it is coming up to 2 years. And I provide training, consultancy, and public speaking for business owners and community leaders to elevate, expand, and grow their awareness and their knowledge around the LGBT community, so that they can have authenticity and inclusivity embedded into their culture, and it not just be a tick box exercise. It be something that is embedded wholesomely across everything, so that more people can access services and products, so that business owners can become more profitable and see reinvestment, but also from a heart-led perspective, we start to bridge this gap for declining mental health, so more people can have a fulfilled and happy life. And it got birth from from my own journey. If I was more chilled, I'd fall over, I think. Like, if it was more laid back, I think I'd fall over, because I am a big advocate of we have to get things wrong to get things right. And the only way that we can get things wrong is by having a safe and nurturing environment to ask the questions that we fear to ask. And I'm very, very big on just giving people the space to ask a question, and for me to say, thank you so much. This is how we respond to that. And making people it's amazing how I see people's stress or anxiety around this conversation almost like dissolve. Like, some people that come to calls, like, you can see the shoulders are all tensed up, and the mooching about, and then once they start actually having conversation with me, like, you just see them like relax into the call, and like, wow, I feel so much better after that. It's amazing.
Because it does make it so much easier. It means that you can ask the questions. Now I'm more than comfortable to come back and go, oh, Alex, what do we do about this? How does that, because the more that we all grow and learn about our lives, other people's lives, yours and my first conversations was that, it makes no difference to me what, where, why, and when, but I don't want to be upsetting anybody. I want to come from the heart and be able to do it in a way that people feel safe and affirmed.
100%.
And you've gone more than 100% in supporting me to get to those places. It's going to take a little while, because these things, on websites, all of the paperwork, it's all time consuming. It's
time and patience. It's time and patience, because inclusion is never done. It is a journey. It's an adventure. It's not an A to B destination. It's literally an adventure. And I would be doing an injustice to sit here and say, well, you have to have everything completed, because that's just rubbish. You literally go have your next logical steps of what to do next. And you just start to have you start to see so much more perspective of people's lives and lived experiences when you take the blinkers off and you start to see how much more colour is surrounding you, and learning from people's lived experiences and making this raw human connection, rather than looking at somebody for their gender, their sexuality, their race, their ethnicity, their religion, whatever it might be. It's simply looking at that person and seeing another human being, and resonating with them, with their lived experiences, or resonating with them because they're a parent, or because they're neurodivergent, or whatever it might be. It's this resonance of human to human connection. And I like to say that I'm a big space holder for that. But time and patience, like giving yourself that time and patience to know that you're not going to get everything right first time. but it's about that growth and it's about that development through education and awareness.
And it's so important in whatever arena in life
Yeah.
for us to actually hold a space and learn and grow with that.
Yeah.
And it's just been so refreshing to be in a space rather than being preached at, to say, yep, say what you need to say. Say what's going through your head. You know, ask the questions that you don't understand.
Mhm.
Which, you know, I'm in my late 50s, so, you know, going back and learning, and it's just been the most incredible experience. It really has.
Yeah.
And, well, I hope that reflects, or is beginning to reflect through.
Oh,
on
yeah.
my website and my socials and what have you. And talking to socials, if anybody is a little bit hesitant about maybe contacting Alex, just jump on her socials, because on their socials, I'm so sorry, Alex.
Okay.
So see how easy that is to slip up.
Oh, yeah.
And it is about going, okay, I've identified it. I'm, you know, and apologizing.
And just correcting yourself and moving on. And that's it. That's all we need. Yeah.
I just wanted to identify, but that happens, doesn't it? You know? But just jump on the socials, because you deliver so much value on your
Thank you.
socials.
Thanks
So much values. And, you know, you could spend all day stuck in that scroll hole there. You really could. And you will get so much more by actually speaking to Alex. But if you want to start by the listening.
That's it. Yeah. Start by checking out the socials. Like, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn.
All of which will be down below underneath, so you can find Alex quite easily.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I'm always here for connections. You know, if you feel like something's come up in this podcast and you want to drop me a message or a voice note, or, you know, or just a follow, like, you know, please, I'm here. I welcome it. You know, I welcome people that are willing to set these intentions and learn, you know, and heart-led learning. I'm so here for it. Yeah. So please reach out and come and connect and maybe say hello.
Be well worth it. Alex, thank you so much for today.
Thanks.
I always enjoy talking to you anyway.
We could talk for hours.
We can.
talk for hours.
And we will catch up soon.
Yes, thank you so much.
In Just Being Me, our theme for the month of June is energy. And we've been talking about how important our own personal energy is and how it changes throughout the month. The best way for you to get to know your energy is by tracking it. I've created a quarterly energy tracker that will take you through July, August and September, and you can start to understand the cycle your energy follows. For only £3.33, you can download the tracker, which also includes a section to identify how your energies are affected by the moon phases, and my vibrational energy charts to help you understand the energetic flow of your emotions. Happy tracking! Thanks for listening today. If you'd like to know more, you can find all the links down below. Oh, and don't forget to press subscribe so you can catch the next one. See you soon!